Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Monday night from the Zen Sports Studios. We're happy to have you in here for another episode of the Prime Time Show. We're back in Nashville. Monday Night Football is on, and the disaster has already taken place. The New York Jets have ruled Aaron Rodgers out, and it is just the latest edition of a nightmare week one for a lot of quarterbacks around the league. So we're going to talk about the Jets. We're going to talk about which quarterback had the worst week one of any of the 32 teams. And we will keep tabs on this Monday Night Football game to get you guys through half together. Before we get started, need you all to share this broadcast around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You know how this deal goes. If you're hanging out with us on Twitter, please retweet the show. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Facebook Live, it's real simple. You can share now to public. That is in the bottom left. Of course, if you are on YouTube or on Twitch, please subscribe to the channel, throw a like on the video, and we would be grateful for your efforts that way. We are going to talk quickly about these quarterbacks as the Bills have a 10-3 lead as the clock is running down in the first half. We have a lot of stuff to get to, and you know we like to keep these things tight for you guys so you can get back and watch some Monday Night Football. So with that being said, once you've shared this broadcast around, we can get off and rolling. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. If you're new to the show, I'm Buck Rising. I'm proud as always to be presented to you by the great people at Zen Sports. Their cashback program is too good to believe. Zen Sports will give you 5% cash back, unlimited 5% cash back, up to a certain time period. Tell you more about that while you download the Zen Sportsbook app today. Of course, you know that TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch is the best place to work out, TrueMathFitness.com. For your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident, they will put you in position to succeed with the best coaches, the best plan, and the best personal training. TrueMathFitness.com is where you go. And, of course, the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Wherever justice demands, Amanda J. and her team have you covered. Trust the best in the business when it comes to your constitutional rights. The best in the business is AmandaJGentry.com. So as we talk about the week one disaster for the quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers is the place that we have to start. Eric Gar says, watching Peyton and Eli on ESPN2, you're actually going to hear from Peyton and Eli on the reaction of the Aaron Rodgers situation. Troy Whitlow says, now that's irony at its best. It is truly awful what happened to the Jets, what happened to Aaron Rodgers. It's the 9-11 game. They are at home at MetLife Stadium. The Bills are the opponent. It is his Monday Night Football debut. They're the darlings of the offseason. It's not just Aaron Rodgers. It's Dalvin Cook. It's Hard Knocks. It's Robert Saleh. And on the first snap of the game, Aaron Rodgers goes down. The question that I want to ask you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, it's your Two Rivers Ford take. As always, it is made possible by Two Rivers Ford. What was your reaction to seeing Aaron Rodgers go down on the first play for the Jets? We'll talk about it together right after I tell you that the Two Rivers Ford take is made possible by the wonderful people at Two Rivers Ford. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Quality American-made Ford vehicles. Award-winning customer service is what Two Rivers Ford offers to you. Powered by Ford, driven by people. So what was your reaction to the Aaron Rodgers injury? I had the game on without the sound, and then all of a sudden my phone started exploding with Twitter notifications about something that had happened. And it was not until I ran back into my bedroom where the game was on my TV and saw what it was that the Manning cast will react to right here.
Is in the tent. He's not. He's hurt.
He's hurt.
Could not have been. Holy cow! I cannot believe this. I thought it was just an ankle. I thought we'd go tape it up and get him back in there. Come on.
Man, three plays, 4 plays.
Yeah, I'd rather see the run it.
Look at this. Look at this,
baby.
This is what he does.
So they all have the reaction that we have, right? Which is, oh my God, I can't believe this. And that is the way that it seems like it's such a Jets thing. And it's so hard to put that into perspective, but I think that was the reaction that many of us had. Eric Castillo says it sucks that Rodgers got hurt, but I don't care. It doesn't affect the Titans. Well, it does affect the Titans. It's an AFC quarterback in a division that figures to be a very, very difficult one going down on the first play. And given that your quarterback was equally as sucky for different reasons yesterday, I think that the trend of discussing week one nightmares for quarterbacks will continue. So I think that you are wrong when you say it doesn't affect the Titans. Anything in the AFC affects the Titans, especially this early on in the going. Stephen King says, I hear ayahuasca can heal that right up. The problem for me is if so the reports are that the x-ray is clear. Well, let me tell you what the problem for me is right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is presented by TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMathFitness.com. Your first workout is free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, TrueMath Fitness is the place for you to get the best version of you. A new way to work out. The best place in Middle Tennessee is TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. Group classes, all kinds of personal training options, and membership options that allow you access to their facility for you to work out as you please. TrueMathFitness.com is where you go. Justin Kirkpatrick corrects me. He says it wasn't the first play. It was the fourth snap, I believe. Hall had a nice run before. Forgive me. I meant the first offensive drive. Thank you for the correction. But I do think that the impact of this and the concern of this is for me that the x-ray was clear, but the ankle, he's ruled out with an ankle. That to me screams Achilles. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not going to give you Twitter analysis, but that just is my gut feeling. The idea that if Aaron Rodgers might be done for the year with an Achilles situation, x-rays being negative does not remove the MRI results, right? And we'll see if Robert Saleh, I mean, they'll already have known whether he's done for the year or not, if the Achilles, in fact, is the injury. But we'll see whether Robert Saleh at the end of the game, after the game in the press conference, because the New York media will ask him, ends up disclosing that information because they will have known by now. The Bills have just taken a 10-point lead, 13-3. At MetLife, 17 seconds to go in the first half of this game. A to Z Sports Prime Time is presented by the great people at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com, your dream address without the stress. The intel edge you need to succeed can be found with the Ashton team. The official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators is Gary Ashton. So as you look at the scenario and the reaction, my first reaction is, my God, what hell it must be to be a New York Jets fan. Like Titans fans going through it, Giants fans going through it. A lot of people, Bengals fans probably not pleased with the quarterback situation, or at least the performance of the quarterback against a Browns team that just brought them into their house and kicked the Bengals' ass up and down. It was a really difficult week one. Kenny Pickett looked like he got absolutely mugged by the San Francisco 49ers defense. A lot of quarterbacks with a lot of scrutiny on them underperforming in big ways. There were other situations. Deshaun Watson looks terrible, even though the Browns won by a substantial margin yesterday. I think that a lot of quarterback situations around the league were pretty problematic. MB says, exactly. They said it's the ankle, not the Achilles. It's over for Rodgers. Well, that's how they would disclose it, at least in the press box, right, for the updates, because you guys know that they have a PA announcer in the press. Well, maybe you don't. They do have a PA announcer with us in the press box to tell us, that's announcing the down and distance in there, because we don't have the television broadcast, right? We can't hear these things unless you're listening to the radio broadcast, and I do for home games because there's no delay on Titans radio, but I don't do that on the road. So they'll tell you, number 8, Aaron Rodgers, questionable to return with an ankle injury. They won't say questionable Achilles or ruled out with an Achilles. They won't say when a guy blows a knee out on an ACL situation, they won't rule him out with an ACL. They'll call him questionable with a knee, right? So that the x-rays are negative, that it's an ankle situation, that he's out, makes me think that it's an Achilles situation. Buck Robert Saleh said it live in an interview. Yeah, he said he's got an ankle situation. an Achilles would be an ankle situation. Again, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that Aaron Rodgers is out there, but that's where my conclusions would lead me. X-rays are negative, yeah, but an MRI would be the thing that would indicate if it was an Achilles. X-rays means that there's not a bone issue. An MRI would reveal if there is a tendon or an Achilles tendon situation. Unfortunate. Again, I hope that the conclusion is incorrect, but that is how I think it would be. That is how I think it would be portrayed based on past interactions with PR staffs and with those kind of announcements in the press box. And Robert Saleh is not going to disclose that, on live, not on live television anyway. He'd say an ankle situation. Savage Savant says, what? How does that make it an Achilles? I'm not saying it makes it an Achilles. It's an ankle situation. What's wrong with you? Well, I think I've just explained it. If it was an Achilles, they would not announce it again as an Achilles. Just something to keep in mind. We'll see what happens. I'm sure that will be reported on here in the next couple of days. So meanwhile, let's talk about which quarterback had the worst week one on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. We'll talk about it in the comment section. You can nominate a variety of different players because a lot of quarterbacks struggled in week one. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you submit your comments. We'll talk about it together right after I remind you that the Primetime program is presented by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, wherever justice demands. They have practiced in Tennessee family and criminal courts in 35 counties across the great state of Tennessee, and they are there to protect your constitutional rights. Amanda and her team take your constitutional rights seriously. They want to make sure that you are educated and that you are further protected from people who might take advantage of you that way. AmandaJGentry.com is where you go for more information. So, which quarterback had the worst week one situation? Cooper Martin says Joe Burrow. Ryan Field says we want Levis. Well, I don't think you actually want Levis. I think you just want somebody who's not Tannehill. Eric Alonzo says Ryan Tannehill. Dang, if he's hurt for a while, the Jets bamboozled the Packers and get to keep their first-round pick. You mean the Packers bamboozled the Jets? I don't think. Oh, no, you're saying it's a conditional first. That's an interesting discussion. I'd have to look more at the details on that trade because I don't know exactly the parameters, but that's worth paying attention to. Daniel Jones from Scary Harry Flanagan and Eric Garst. William Jones says Tannehill, as does Demetrius. Chosen says Burrow and Tanny more so because of the 3 picks and the missing wide receivers. Well, excuse me. If you listen to the Primetime show last night or the radio show today, I talked about the idea of Ryan Tannehill aging, and that being my bigger concern than Ryan Tannehill throwing 3 interceptions, right? He's thrown 3 interceptions in games before. That's not, it's looked different. It looked different yesterday. It looked like a physical diminishment on some of the misses that he had, and that's not something that I expected to see. But I don't know how you could go with any quarterback, given what the Aaron Rodgers situation, what that just happened in front of us. I don't know that you could go with any other situation but Aaron Rodgers. But given that he only played 4 snaps of this game, Ryan Tannehill's Ryan Tannehill is probably the 3rd worst performance of the weekend, I would say.
The decision making, we just have to be more decisive in all 3 phases. Figure out, what it is that allows our players to play decisive and play better, especially in an environment like this. Ryan will be better. We'll coach better, and we'll get open quicker, and we'll block a little longer than we did today going forward, because that's what we have to do.
Yeah, it's a sick feeling in your gut, obviously. Didn't go out and play the way we wanted to play. Weren't good enough in the red zone, missed opportunities, mistakes, all of it, So, there was a couple bright spots, but on the whole, just have to be better in a lot of different areas.
Can you walk us through the interceptions from your standpoint?
Hey, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, you can walk through them, whatever. At the end of the day, whether, it doesn't matter what happened. Turnovers, and, we have to eliminate those to give ourselves a chance to win the game.
How would you attribute some of the
So that's Mike Vrabel and then Ryan Tannehill talking about his week one. I think of the quarterback performances, Daniel Jones was the worst. Burrow Burrow, I won't say is bad because Burrow, it's not like an age thing. And I don't know that it's an age thing with Tannehill specifically. We'll continue to keep an eye on it, obviously. But like, I felt that he was a lesser player than I'm accustomed to seeing. Troy Whitlow says Tannehill can't make those throws. No, the problem is he can. And he has. The problem is that he has, Troy. I think that's ignoring the bigger issue. How many times have you seen them make that flea flicker play and he just missed Chig wide open? That's not something that I've seen before. They've had moments where Ryan, listen, I'm not here to cape up for Tannehill, but the bigger problem is he's made that throw a million times. And the fact that he missed it as badly as he did and had several other misses to that effect, that to me is the bigger issue. That he can, or at least has in previous years, make those throws. I don't know. I don't know that the issue is that he can't. I mean, or that if he can't, it's recent, right? If he can't, it's recent because we have seen him make those plays. Cloudhouse Entertainment says that Jordan Schultz is reporting Achilles injury for Rodgers, MRI tomorrow. So, again, that's why I said that the Achilles situation earlier, and I'll make sure that I pull the Jordan Schultz tweet up. So there is a fear that Aaron Rodgers is dealing with an Achilles injury per sources. It currently unknown if it is ruptured. He is expected to have an MRI on Monday. So again, that's kind of why that's why I brought it up, because I know how teams designate these injuries. So that's why my brain went there right away. And I think that's, hopefully it's less of a serious situation than a ruptured Achilles, because of course a ruptured Achilles would rule him out for the game. Savage Savant says no. Jordan Schultz says no such thing. Well, of course he absolutely does, because I'm looking directly at his official Twitter timeline. If you would like confirmation, there it is. His blue check mark. There is a fear that quarterback Aaron Rodgers is dealing with an Achilles injury per sources. It is currently unknown if it is ruptured. I'm trying to read this backwards. He is expected to have an MRI per sources on Monday. So, yes, that is actually what happened. I think that when you are looking at the quarterback nightmares, the Tannehill thing is a nightmare, a different kind of a nightmare, right? Because the turnovers are one thing. If he's physically diminishing, that's something that you're going to have to ride out, and you have to make sure that you have that going. Josh Sabata says your phone number showing. No, it's not. Listen, I love you all, but I am not afraid to change my phone number, because that sounds like my nightmare. Billy Jones says I tore my Achilles about 15 years ago and I still have problems with it. Yeah, it's one of the harder injuries to come back from, especially as a professional athlete. He's already 40 years old. I really do think that is the larger issue. So let's keep it moving. Let's talk about, in case you missed it, Bert's not here. Bert's still on his way back from Baltimore, where the Ravens were able to beat the Texans. We will talk, though, in the absence. I'll say, I'm going to show you Aaron Rodgers' highlight reel as a Jet, in case you missed it, because it was a very brief situation. Get to that here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is presented by Zen Sports. Go and download the Zen Sports app, and they will get you in on all the action with that promo code ATOZTN. ATOZTN gets you unlimited 5% cash back on your first handful of bets. Terms and conditions do, of course, apply, but your best place to wager, the best place to get in on all the action, is the Zen Sports app. Baseball postseason right around the corner. We've got the NFL in full swing, and basketball will be upon us soon enough. It's an incredibly easy to navigate mobile app, so stop wasting time and money on other sports books when you could be earning real cash rewards with Zen Sports. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. As I said, must be 21 and up in Tennessee to bet. So, Aaron Rodgers' career highlights as a Jet, in case you missed it, because an Achilles situation would, of course, end his season before it really began. And this is about all we got for the Aaron Rodgers Jets experience. So that is the Aaron Rodgers Jets career highlights, in case you missed it on this week's primetime show. You know, we like to keep it short and sweet when there's football games on Thursday and Monday. So we'll get you back in time to catch the second half of this Jets-Bills game. Currently a 10-point Bills lead. Aaron Rodgers, of course, ruled out with that quote-unquote ankle injury that I do fear is trending towards Achilles. So we'll keep an eye on the situation. We'll certainly talk about it tomorrow from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. We got a loaded radio show tomorrow. Hall of Famer and Titans great and former Jets player Kevin Mawai going to be on the radio show. We'll talk to him about the Titans and the Jets and the offensive line situation. We'll also have Corey Curtis of WKRN News 2 and our boy Mike Felder from Stadium to break down a batshit crazy week 2 in the college football world. Have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy the second half, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.